Alrighty, what is up guys? Evan Aldo here. Wanted to give you an update in these somewhat uncertain times with Bitcoin right now. So as you can see, our 2-day blood diamond is playing out so far, breaking down. I mean, our main technical target out of kind of this breakdown, I would argue would be, the most basic, least reliable pattern, head and shoulder situation. If you zoom in a little bit, you can see it better on probably your 12-hour here. Shoulder, head, shoulder, whatever. Around 80K. Now, I want to talk about in this video why I think we could potentially be looking in a lot of ways, not just Bitcoin, but a lot of ways like October of 23. Also in the Fourier cycle, like you've heard me mention if you watch my videos a lot, like January of 21 or January of 27. Now, the first thing that we should look at in history a little bit is January of 2021. And where, I think I marked it out here. Oh no, I didn't exactly, but you can see it right here. This correction. This was about a 31% correction right there. So if we were to repeat that situation, I believe in January of 2017, it was a little bit worse than that, maybe 35, something like that. So, 32 would be, 75 would be this major point. I think if you get close to 72, you would end up there. That's kind of my worst case scenario, I think, unless something really crazy happens. 25% could be a little bit better, and that could be, your 80K target. That could be your 80K target. So that's what we got to keep in mind. Now, the reason why I think things are a little bit, why I think things are a bit similar to October 23 is it's easier to show you on like the yields, like the US 10-year. October 23 is when this kind of topped out here, very high yields. And then what happened? Your altcoins, Bitcoin had a nice run up in October of 23. You're approaching that area now. And if we go on the 2-week here, I think this is kind of a ticking time bomb. Could be wrong, but I think this is a ticking time bomb with the VWAP coming down here on the 2-week and the money flow coming down. So I think when this finally tops out, probably a double top. I don't think this is going to go any higher in this area. And I think we could see that double top. You saw it here. Let's say, you were close to that top around the end of, we could zoom in a little bit to get a little bit more precise. I don't know how important it is to do that, but, end of October, 25th was the top. You were approaching it, we're approaching January 10th. We're on January 10th right now, approaching that area. Where were you here? As you can see, it was October 5th. So that general area, in the next, let's say 10 days, maybe we hit that top and we continue generally sideways and bearish for Bitcoin. And then as this finally, rejects here and hopefully comes back down, we would hope, that's where you could see Bitcoin have a nice rally into April of 2025 here. So I think that's important to realize here. It's a really important thing to realize here. And ultimately, let's see. So yeah, that point right there. Same thing for the Dixie. That's the other comparison. Look at the Dixie. It made that high right here, September of 2022. I know it is September of 22, but it's that same kind of approaching that area. So maybe a little bit higher there. But really, if you compare it to that October 2, actually, what I meant, obviously, a little bit more like this, but potential tops, let's say. So right here, that was that October top, end of October. What do we have here in the Dixie? This is bearish. You got your VWAP coming down, money flow coming down. It seems like a ticking time bomb. Can it jump real quick? How long was it here? August the 29th. A couple more months. Can it jump real quick up to those levels? I think it's going to be a higher low. I don't think there's any reason to even bring it up that high. We don't really need it that high. You know what I mean? For our inflation downing goals or whatever that we're hoping to achieve or whatever, whether you believe those numbers are real or not. So that's ultimately what I'm looking at. So keep in mind that October of 2023 area. Let's just see ETH Bitcoin, because that's been, it didn't make a lower low, but it's been very weak lately. Let's look at October of, right around there, that kind of area, potentially jumping a little bit, but then it came down. So maybe as we see that pretty soon, we'll see a nice jump from ETH and hopefully marking the bottom and ending to, leading to a nice rally upward. That's what I'm really hoping for. Speaking of ETH, I wanted to look at ETH a little bit here. So I think, I did mark it out on ETH here. I just want to show you the January correction in 2021 for ETH. It was around 33% downward. I kind of mapped this downward from there. You got to zoom in to really see it. But take my word, it was give or take, that 33% three area from that top right there. And if we do, something similar, so we've already come down about 29% for ETH. So we could be very close. That 33% is not that far away. We could be very close to that area. Can ETH hold up well if Bitcoin goes down farther? I mean, maybe it can, maybe not, but I really like the pattern that we're kind of seeing here, potentially that giant reverse head and shoulders, and then jumping upward for a rally in the next month or two, maybe a really good February. And then we're about maybe a month delayed in terms of where ETH makes its new all-time high in the cycle. It was, I think, February 1st, around February 1st of 21. Maybe it's around March 1st of this year. So it's a little bit, we're getting a wrench into our, our bull market, but we're cleansing the market a bit. I could argue we're kind of cleansing the market here. So that's kind of what we're looking at. Now, short term, talking about short term a little bit here. I mean, the thing here is like your money flow is not too good. I have to lean a little bit more bearish at the moment. We're breaking downward. Your target's going to be around 82K, I think, for these downward breaks. And keep an eye on that trigger wave forming on the daily. That could give us, some relief here, really showing that, blood diamond played out, especially the trigger wave forming on the 2-day. That could, keep things, played out as well, keep things, downward as well. So it just doesn't look good at the moment. Trying to jump up, but it's just not, I don't know if we're seeing it yet. That trigger wave forming in the 30-minute, that could bring us back down. I would say, argue probably the same for ETH, maybe jumping back down to this area a little bit. We got our yellow X's, we could jump up, keep an eye on it. It does look good on this 2-hour, I like that. But it doesn't look too good in the 10-hour, so I'm a little hesitant to try to long right now. Probably wait a day, see what happens, and hopefully form something cool here. Maybe we bore out the market for the next week to 2 weeks. We hit a nice bottom around the 25th, around the end of this month, and then we really jump up into February being a good month. So that's what I'm kind of looking at right there. We looked at our Dixie, we looked at our yields. I mean, we could look at Solana. That's another big one. Unfortunately, it does kind of seem like, given that we lost this level around 186, that we will break down to around 153. Now, I'm just curious about that correction for Solana. So we're already down 35%. ETH comes down 30%, a little bit more. I could see Solana down 40%. I don't think you'll get a full 50% correction, but that's what I'm ultimately looking at right there. So, I mean, unfortunately, at the moment, it's just not looking too good. I mean, short term, sure. Like I mentioned, you could get that jump. You hit that spiral line, that major point. Hopefully we get a higher low here. Something turns around. If it does, I'll be looking along. But as of right now, I mean, the main thing to take away from this is, like, I wouldn't get too scared. We normally see that January correction. The main place where I would get scared, where I would be annoyed, would be if we do lose that 70K range right there. That's where things get, you're kind of throwing in a wrench in the 4-year cycle, and it's not as good. But until then, I don't think there's that much to worry about. This is typical of what we do see in January's. Only down 17% so far for Bitcoin. So, I mean, that's the thing. If we were to come down, maybe it's a little bit better this time, 23%, and then ETH kind of holds up well. Maybe ETH gets a jump a little bit here. Maybe ETH starts to get a jump against Bitcoin. So ultimately, that's what I'm looking at. Wish I could be a little bit, more optimistic right now. I really am, but ultimately, I think it's a good altcoin buying opportunity. I mean, the last thing I'll show you real quick, guys, here is going to be others, just others itself, everything outside the top 10. And I mean, we're still making a higher low from kind of that drop off that we saw in December. So as long as we could kind of hold, try to hold that area, we should be okay. That's really what we're going to look for. It could lose that. I mean, there's just looking at support resistance. I mean, right there, a little bit lower, but I think we should be, we're consolidating. I think we should eventually be on our way here. And I think that money flow coming into the green, we got more of that. We definitely got more of that there. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed the update. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys soon. Check out the links down below if you guys are interested in trading, especially BYDFI. Really good promos right there. 10% off your fees for life with BYDFI and BloFin down below. Check it out. Goodbye.